Welcome to the Jock podcast here on rock108.com. I am the radio jock in this equation. My name is Brian Marshall, joined by my co-host, the Iowa basketball star, Jordan Bohannon, who just broke 400 three-pointers in the Big Ten against Indiana. Congratulations to him for that. But I asked him here on the last episode, is there something special about the assigned seating during film day?
Sometimes in the movies we see, especially for football, you see kind of the assigned seating. Same deal for you guys?
There isn't, but there is. Like when I was a freshman, we all were told where we need to sit.
Yeah.
Because everyone else had their own spots, and I have not moved in my seat since my freshman year, since I stepped on campus.
Is it there's a superstition about changing the seat?
Kinda, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, it just the seat's kind of it's sentimental, to be honest with you, Brian. Like it has a lot of meaning. Like this spot was yours. It's been through a lot. It's loyal to you. You know, there's a lot of value in your own seat.
Episode 4 of the Jock podcast is available on our site now at rock108.com and up on our YouTube page. This episode here starts off by going back into episode 1 because he mentioned he saw Steph Curry play against his brother, and I wanted to know a little bit more.
You mentioned you saw Steph Curry play against your brother. Some big stuff going on for Steph Curry as of late. He just broke his own record, 158 games with a made three, and then broke the record for number of three-pointers in 789 games with 2973. What do you think? I mean, you said you saw him play. What were your thoughts about Steph Curry at the time, or was he just another player?
He was just another player warm-ups. I had absolutely no idea who he was when my brother got matched up with Davidson in Detroit for that game. I don't remember if it was, I think it was a Sweet 16 game. I had no idea who he was, had no idea where Davidson even was. Saw him, he had 37-40 on Wisconsin. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is my favorite player ever. I had to go away from my brother Jason for a little bit because I was so in awe how well this guy played, and continue to watch him from that day on. And it's been unbelievable what he's been able to do.
So when he breaks the record in the NBA in 789 games, how did you feel that night?
It's just a loss of words what he's been able to do. You know, I don't think he's getting enough credit even. Like he's been getting a lot of attention, yes, but what he's been able to do is bigger than basketball. He's literally transformed an entire generation. My game has been transformed because of his. I always shot the three ball, but I never shot it as deep as, I used to, as I did when I was little. He took his game and was so influential on the game of basketball that he changed an entire good chunk of percentage of basketball players as little kids. And that is something that I don't think a lot of people can say that they've ever done as an athlete.
Why is it that we don't hear about him as much? You know, people are always talking about LeBron kind of being the face. Why isn't Steph the face of the NBA right now?
I kind of wish he was. Personally, I respect LeBron's greatness, what he's been able to do. He's one of the best basketball players to ever play the game of basketball.
Right.
But I'm not a big fan of his antics sometimes on the court. I do like how he speaks out sometimes. Some I disagree with, some I agree with it. Steph he plays the game the right way. I think he has the mentality on the court when he steps on the floor that he's going to give 100% every single time he plays, every single play. And sometimes I just don't see that from LeBron. And there's nothing against him. He's a phenomenal basketball player. But that's why I think Steph deserves more than what he has been getting.
Have you had the chance to see him play live since that time in Detroit?
I have not. It's one of my bucket lists. I already checked. I wanted to see Kobe Bryant play, and his last year, my brother surprised me with tickets, and I got to see him play in Chicago for his farewell tour year.
You saw? So you saw Kobe?
I saw Kobe play, yeah, and that was one of my first bucket list checkoffs for professional athletes. I got to see Tiger Woods golf in Ohio, which was another one. My third one is seeing Steph Curry play. I hope someday I get to see that.
Anybody else on that bucket list?
I got to meet Michael Jordan when I was a little kid, and it was the coolest. It was on my birthday.
You got to tell me this, because this is monumental right here. You met Michael Jordan.
Yep, I met Michael Jordan, and it was at a Nike camp. So they used to have these huge Nike camps for these high school recruits back then, and Jason was actually in Michael Jordan's son's recruiting class, and he was in the top 100 recruits. And little do we know once we get there, my dad and I, that Michael Jordan's son is on my brother's camp team.
Ooh.
So we're like going crazy. We're like, oh my gosh, Michael Jordan's going to be here. He has to be watching his son. So we're watching the second game, and he finally shows up with his, security guards. And there wasn't a lot of people there because it was like a closed camp. Like it was a big deal that you were invited to that. And we were able to see him play at the end of the camp. My dad and I went over. It was on my birthday. Went over and shook his hand, and he wished me happy birthday. And it was the coolest. It was the coolest thing ever.
Do you have a Jordan autograph?
Unfortunately, no.
Oh.
This is what hurts the most. I asked him for his autograph after he wished me a happy birthday, and he said, I can't do autographs right now. I understand it. I think it was during that time where his autographs were like extremely like rare and stuff. And I don't think he ever did autographs like that back in his college and NBA playing days. So when I was older, I understood it, but I was hurt. I was really, really hurt when he denied me.
And as a kid, you don't understand it, but as an athlete now who does sign autographs, there's got to be a point where you say, enough for tonight. How difficult is that for you?
It gets extremely tough. I've been fortunate to have a couple of autograph signings, and those have been great. Did one on the 4th of July, and that was great, really great time in Des Moines. For example, last game, we got out of the elevator where we come up from Carver, and there's probably 200 little kids and families sitting outside the elevator. And it was, I didn't get out of there for probably an hour and a half because I spent so much time. I've always made it a priority. If someone offers me an autograph, I'm never going to say no. If time willing, obviously. That was a little tough because I wanted to get home and I wanted to see my mom and dad before they left for back home. So that was a little tough, but I always try to make time.
So is it because of how you felt when Jordan snubbed you?
You didn't have to do that. You didn't have to do that.
No, that's cool that you do that though. I mean, I know a bunch of these kids, man, they see you out there. You mentioned the jerseys. Now they've got your autograph. I don't know how you do it because I've taken a few photos with bands and stuff like that over the course of the days. How the hell do you make every photo where you're smiling and you look genuine? Because there's a point where I go, I can't do it anymore. How do you do it?
It's hard. I got my love and kindness from my mom for sure. My dad is not the same. If he was myself right now, he would just leave. And not saying he's not a nice person, but he likes to just move on and get going here. I try my best. I try my best to interact with these kids because I know this means the world to them to meet me and meet other Iowa athletes, and also like to talk to their parents. And I met a lot of cool families and people these past 4 to 5 years that it's been really surreal just to look back on.
I know you don't like to talk about specific teams coming up. As you get back into the Big Ten schedule, do things get a little bit tighter for you? How does it look for you?
The foot has to be on the pedal. We started 0-2 in non-conference, in conference play, which is not acceptable. And the leaders in the locker room definitely have made our voices heard that after the first loss to Purdue, that there's no way we can lose at home to Illinois, and we ended up, losing a hard-fought battle. So it's go time now. It's make or break. A lot of people don't realize, but this part of the season, when you start having a slide like that, a lot of teams just say they pack up the bags and they're okay with mediocrity for the rest of the season. And we're not okay with that. We see a special group here, and we're going to have to get things going here to turn it around. And we believe that, we can make a really, really good run, deep run.
Games at Carver Hawkeye, I mean, they're going to become fewer for you. Every game you step on that court, you still getting goosebumps?
I have goosebumps literally just looking down on my skin right now. Since once you brought that up, I am incredibly fortunate to play one more year at Carver. I wanted to play with fans. It's been so much fun to get back here for this final year, and it's bittersweet. I for sure tears are gonna be flowing once my final time is done. I'm just getting choked up just even thinking about it right now. And saying goodbye to the Iowa community has basically watched me growing up into a man I am now, which is incredibly, awesome. And a lot of athletes don't get to say that because usually they're there for 4 years. I've been here for 6. Like that's a big difference. It really is. I'm 24 years old now. They saw me come in as a 17, 18-year-old. it's a different world now. I'm a different person, and they see me grow through, so much that I never thought I'd ever go through.
You hoping you get to make the final shot of the season?
I hope so. I hope so. I hope that final shot of the season is where the final four's destination is. I want to get to the Final Four. That was a goal. I know that's high standards. Iowa hasn't done it in a long time, but that's the person I am. That's the team we are. That's why I came to Iowa. That's why Fran recruited me. We want high goals, and we're doing everything we can to get there.
Twitter and Instagram, he's Jordan BO3 on both Twitter and Instagram. And I believe I saw you on Facebook that looks like it's more of a personal setup. So we'll have him leave you alone on the Facey Space.
I'm not on Facey Space that much.
I cannot believe that the man has met Michael Jordan, but does not have an autograph. Oh, man, maybe someday. Jordan Bohannon, thank you so much for the time here today. Jock to Jock, a Rock 108 podcast. We will get back to you next week. What should we talk to him about? Maybe you've got a question for Jordan Bohannon. Email me direct, Brian at rock108.com. Thanks so much for listening. We'll catch you next week.